Let's talk veganism. Is being vegan a conscious way to live? I would say it is. We already know that in terms of having a healthy diet, making healthy food choices, that becoming a vegan or having a plant-based diet is more healthy for the body. But let's go into lifestyle. Let's go further, right? Let's go beyond food. Let's go lifestyle. Living a vegan lifestyle, which means living a lifestyle of peace and compassion, respecting nature, respecting living beings that are not human, but they're living beings, understanding that animals have a right to life. That's lifestyle. Living a lifestyle where you are honoring and respecting non-humans' right to live peacefully is a conscious way of living. But let's go a little bit further. Many of us are seekers. We are in a state, an intense state of waking up. And from my experience, we wake up incrementally. There are steps and levels. And for me, a vegan lifestyle is a step up the chain of consciousness. How did I get to that? Why? How did I come to that way of thinking? Well, an animal, for me, has a soul. I have a soul. An animal lives, breathes, has emotions, fears. The only difference, an animal is not in a human body, but is life. Just like the trees, life. Mother Earth breathes, is life. So, if I contemplate that, I come up with that an animal is just like me, but only in a different form. That an animal or animals and humans are one. Humans and nature are one. And in the spiritual community, New Age community, you hear that all the time. For some people, it's just rhetoric. It's just a tagline. But I truly embody that, which for me is another level of consciousness. Because to practice and embody, we are one. Then it comes down to that if I kill an animal who is one of my relations, or I contribute to the killing of an animal or destruction of nature, then I'm destroying myself. If I am succumbing to my primal desires, which are related to food, sex, right? Money, my primal desires of survival, when we know that humans do not need animal protein to live. If that's the case, I wouldn't be here, and so would millions of other vegans, plant-based eaters. We wouldn't be here. And the science is there. Humans do not need animal protein to survive. So if we don't need animal protein to survive, then what is the reasoning to continue to eat a living being with a soul? It has to be something base, something that we are attached to. Our emotions. These holidays where families sitting around enjoying a meal where there is an animal being consumed, right? The mind believing that you need to eat an animal to live, then in that case, that is an illusion of the mind, an illness of the mind, a false belief. Because we don't need animal protein to survive. So we're dealing with these base instincts, lower desires, primal desires. And if you're living in that space of primal desires, then any seeker knows that to raise your level of consciousness, you have to move beyond those primal desires. And if you can see with your heart that another living being, be it dog, cat, pig, cow, turkey, tree, ocean, is you. If you can see that with your heart, know it. Know that life comes from life, and that by not consuming another part of me, another life that is me, that I am one with, then for me, that is a conscious way of living. That is another level of consciousness, because there are different levels of consciousness. For me, another level of consciousness is the level where I am aware that seeing an animal as I see myself is moving me more towards the divine. Is moving me to another level of enlightenment. Because I don't need to eat an animal to live. It'd be different. In some parts of the world, there are tribal cultures who may be in an environment where they can't grow fruits and vegetables, may not be at the level of consciousness to discern, okay, I don't need this, or I can't even grow this. That's different. Sometimes we may have to euthanize our pet if they're suffering. For me, you're causing harm if you allow an animal to suffer, needlessly suffer. But I don't need to eat an animal to survive. But the mind and the body believes that. And the body believes it because the mind does, because of thought and emotion, and because of taste buds. People say it tastes good. Eating an animal tastes good. I understand that. I used to eat animals. But that, again, that is primal. instincts, lower level of consciousness. Veganism is a conscious way to live. Meditate on that. I have meditated on this, and what has come up for me is that this is part of spiritual boot camp. It's part of our level of consciousness to get to the point to get to the point where we realize that animals are us. We realize that part of our spiritual initiation is to realize that we are no longer at the level where we have to kill animals and live off of their flesh to live, to exist, to thrive. I truly believe that. I believe that that is a step in our level of consciousness to get to that awareness. Just it's the tip to get to that awareness. Where we realize that part of the journey, spiritual journey, is to realize that we don't need animals to exist. And at a point we did. We believed it. We did. Our caveman brothers and sisters did, because that was a lower level of consciousness. But as we are evolving and we don't need animal protein, we don't need to eat animals, the next step is to realize that we can exist without eating animals. But better yet, go further, that animals are us, truly us. They are the souls that came to be our teachers, that came in these bodies of cow and duck and dog and cat and turkey as part of this life school, teaching us compassion, showing us that they are as equally intelligent and more so. They are the other souls that came with us to help teach us, raise up our level of consciousness beyond those primal needs of our taste buds and that lower consciousness, eating our brothers and sisters. I believe this. Is veganism a conscious way to live? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It goes beyond those primal urges of killing and taste and being satiated by our taste buds. Animals are us. Animals are us. They are here to help us become aware, here to help us move us along in our evolutionary process. When we get to that, when we have that aha moment of, okay, they are us, we're eating them. It actually goes beyond thinking. Because the mind is part of the issue. It's attachment to that primal urge, right? It has to come from the heart, a feeling, a knowing in the heart. That's deep. That is really deep. Because the heart has an intelligence, and the heart knows. But the heart's intelligence, brain, is being overshadowed by the brain of the mind, the ego, the animal instincts. And part of our spiritual journey and evolution is to move beyond the ego, the concepts and thinking and attachments and urges, those base urges of the mind and body. Wow, that's deep. Thank you for your time. Who loves you? I sure enough love you. Namaste. Namaste.